Well, it's running, and I figured might as well get the parts machine out because it's decent outside. Screw here. Like I don't have enough stuff. Alright, we can push it from here. Hey, oh, wrong one. Whoa, wrong wire. There we go. I hope it took, it took the video the wrong way. I'll have to do the rotator. So here's the, what started it. I bought a 86 Scrambler because I'm stupid. Hey, there's kitties on here. I got kitties behind, all over it. Behind the house, I got kitties. But yeah, I bought this because I wanted a Polaris three-wheeler, and she's a pile. Like, I think we're just going to use the plastics because I want to keep it the original color. And the front end. And the rest we're taking off of this thing. So, I'm going to get in the garage. Ain't going to get work done no time soon. But at least we did it when the weather's nice. So, there it is. Figured I'd throw these pictures in real quick. This is a Scrambler the day I picked it up. Story is his neighbor had it sitting in the pine trees for about 30 years and it showed it. Then here's that Trail Boss when I went and picked it up in West Virginia. Alright, that's on. The gas is on and off, maybe.
Oh, he's fucking around. Look at this thing. Oh, that sounded good.
$1986 Polaris Trail Boss 250 RES. Got back last night. No, the night before. Went hot dogging all the way down to West Virginia to pick this up. Guy wanted 1,500. He knocked himself down to 900. So then that opened the door, and I got him down to 600. Probably the cleanest Polaris I've ever seen that's not brand new. So why'd I buy this one? Well, 85 Polaris only made a Scrambler, which was this 250 two-stroke motor and rear end, but a three-wheeler. I'm kind of addicted to three-wheelers, so I have one. But it's a basket case. Motor turns over, doesn't fire. It's got no carb on it, no airbox. It's missing everything. But from right there and the handlebars backwards, same exact machine. Same frame, same swing arm, suspension, everything. The only difference with this guy being the Trail Boss four-wheeler is this is a stock trike frame. Comes down and swoops back. They welded that front frame on so they could put the suspension on it. So they just welded those two bars on there, and then these two, they go up and they weld next to the steering stem. But from right there backwards, same as a three-wheeler. So I'm gonna chop this one up, put the three-wheeler front end on it, have a nice clean three-wheeler. All right, Ben, what do we have here? Kind of nice 85, 86 Trail Boss, and then the not so nice trike version. Because rotted frame, it's kind of been missing all that for like a long time. Guy said it sat in the woods for 30 years. And I don't know if you could see it when I do this. You could hear it. It's a swing arm that goes through the case. So what are we going to do here? We're going to chop and eat this guy. Where, at the steering stem? Yeah. Because they're the same frame. And put it on there. But of course, tonight all we're doing is stripping this. And I'm thinking, what? 2 beer job per person?
Per person, yeah, 3.
Yeah. Maybe we'll give it 3. The dog's going to help. Right, James? Yep. And before everybody tells me, you shouldn't cut it up. It's nice. You should keep it the way it is. You should restore it. It's nice. Listen, it was on Marketplace for a month and a half. The guy dropped his price, like, in half. And anyone that's watching this knows how to use the internet. If you want to restore it, you should have bought it. It was a month and a half. It's not like I beat you to the deal. Month and a half. And they made 3 times as many of these as they did the trikes. So, we're going to do the trike thing, and it's going to be a time lapse. At least stripping this is, because we're not... I don't have the time for detail, you know. So, right, James? Right, buddy? You tell him. You tell him. The only way to get this gas tank off is to pull the whole steering stem out. You can see someone else has been trying. It's all mired up along there, but there's just no way. Can't go up enough, can't go back. There's studs that come out of the tank through the plastics. It just doesn't work. This oil tank, you cannot, even though you can get that part of it up, you just can, the gas tank needs to come up. So, just look. Try to pick it up, you get that to clear, it just won't come back. It's catching somewhere on something always. This side up. Try to bring it back. Same thing. It's hitting there. Who the hell designs a machine like this? Here we are in the time lapse. Again, I wasn't going to show you guys every little nut and bolt. Hoping if you're watching this, you know how to take nuts and bolts out, especially some older ones. Here we are trying to figure out if we're running metric or standard. All this is standard hardware. For the rear rack and the rear plastics, I'm fighting little grommets that the seats sit in. Finally get those out, and I'm just throwing all the parts in the trunk. I'll figure that out later. Figure the rear mud flaps are bolted to the little floorboard things. Got that off. Put all the bolts back in. Now here's a terrible design because you got to take the A-arms off this thing to get to the nut that holds the steering stem on. So what we did is we just picked it up and put the wrench above this lower A-arms but under the steering stem, and he turned it back and forth while I got her out. Still just a pain in the butt design to do that. Alright, Ben, we got the stem out. Come on, you can find a way to swing that thing. It's a claw hammer. We know how to use it. Longer bar. Go in the pry bar drawer. We got to get this guy out because we don't know if that's just a piece of tube that they put the bushing in or if it has a machine face like the tricycle one does. See, that's got the little lip on it. If we come over here, it's straight. So my mind is telling me no, but my body is telling me, oh yeah. But that doesn't matter because there's still a bushing. No. What? Oh, what? Yeah, get a longer bar. That thing's 4 foot long.
Fucking long time down.
What are you? Yeah. What are you trying to do?
I'm in the hole.
Get the angle right. Hit it with a hammer. We have hammers. We have the... oh, you just blew the thing apart. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. Blow the top half out. It's 35-year-old plastic. If you guys think we should have saved this, you don't know what you're doing. I'll get the last bit. Don't crush my fingers. Okay. So, that is not machined. So that makes us have a dilly of a pickle. Because... do we get the round make it go away machine and do that and then put that one on there, or do we get out the thing where you measure like really nicely with fancy numbers and we take that measurement and this measurement and this measurement and then that measurement and then another one of those, and that way, and then we compare it to, you know, that one, that one, that one, that one, and then go to our buddy that has a lathe and say we need some pieces made so that we can put a steering stem on here. Well, that steering stem on here. So, I don't know. Look, his brain's already... look how much pain he's in. His brain's working already. Alright, so we got it stripped this far. And the steering stem's out with the doodads. And then that one's up so we can take the front end off. And we're going to start chopping. So here we are. That's what you're going to see. And we're going to time-lapse it because we want music. And I don't need to explain how to drill a rivet and how to take... It's a Sawzall. You'll figure it out. And here we go again with the voiceover. Drill out them rivets, pop them plastics off, and then just chop away. Roll this front end out of the way. Look at it, maybe question it. Now we're going to go to the three-wheeler. It's a different day. Taking the rack off, fighting rusted hardware, because again, this thing sat outside probably 20 years. The guy's thinking 30 years. But just like everything else, take it off, put the hardware back into it. That way I don't lose it, because it's usually a couple weeks before I get back to working on something. Pop that steering stem out. Now here we go. I'm popping the bearing races out, so I have those. I can measure them. And that was it that day. And then we rolled it over here. And I'm working on getting the rack off. That thing's rusty. It took a while of finessing and fighting. A couple metric wrenches, even though it's standard, because it was rusted. The same thing I did in the other one. Now, something cool here is those are the original back tires on that scrambler, on that three-wheeler. And that guy told me when he pulled it out of the weeds, or the pine trees, that they still had air in them. And I've had this thing probably 4 months now and haven't put air in them, and they still holding, so trust them. Now, this is probably a couple days later, getting this exhaust off. Again, trying not to break anything, taking my time. Now I'm messing with the belt guard and the primary clutch. Now that primary clutch, I just use a 3/4 standard fine thread bolt with 2 sockets behind it. And it'll pop that right off, just like any other Fuji motor. I did try to show in here it's a 16 mil bolt to get that primary off. So it was about this time that Ben, who you saw in the video a couple times, decided he wanted to hop on this Polaris gang and picked up this Cyclone. This is a true 87 Cyclone, and at this point we pretty much deep dove into all the difference between the Cyclone and the Trail Boss and the Scrambler to the point where we're miking and measuring components in the engine. So in the next video, it'll probably be a Cyclone versus Trail Boss / Scrambler comparison video. A lot of good stuff in there that no one else has covered before, and it's all based on us tearing these down and measurements and everything that we could find different. So stay tuned because that video is coming out next.